Good morning. Welcome to Brighter Morning with Bhoe. I am Bhoe Tiwari. You are watching on MCTV, Multicultural TV in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean region on several channels available to you. We thank you for staying on, joining us this morning, and we hope that you will stay on and continue the viewing and listening to the conversations that we have. Our first guest this morning is Professor Hamid Ghani, and as you know, he's a political scientist and constitutional specialist, and more than that, he's very versed on parliamentary matters as well. And therefore, we're going to talk about Tobago, we're going to talk about Trinidad, we're going to talk about the issues that have emerged out of the elections and the victory of the PDP. And we're going to talk about politics, and we're going to talk about whatever issues attend this new development in Trinidad and Tobago. Let us look at what the newspapers have to say today. Trinidad and Tobago to get 200 more Pfizer doses from the U.S. Good news for Trinidad and Tobago, but there is the persistent and consistent bad news of people not wanting to be vaccinated while the Omicron virus spreads among us. And then Duke refuses to step down as PSA president. We're looking at Newsday. I won't abandon workers. And the story inside, Duke refuses to step down as PSA president. Now, yesterday, Farley Davidson, the chief secretary designate, had said, and I quote here from Newsday, Duke cannot remain as PSA president on the payroll of the PSA and simultaneously be a member of the executive. The rules do not allow for that, so there is no need to worry about Mr. Duke's role. And then Newsday reports, hours later, the PSA executive published a notice of a unanimous decision to withdraw all benefits and remuneration assigned to Duke for the remainder of his term. However, the president would continue to carry out his constitutional duties in keeping with the PSA constitution. The release added, but Duke told Newsday Wednesday, I am still the president of the PSA, and I have chosen to do so, as I have chosen to relinquish all my remuneration and benefits associated with the position. So I am working for free as PSA president, working for the 80,000 public servants for this country. My job as the supervisor and to ensure things within the PSA operate in a manner that promotes, protects the interests and welfare of the membership. I am not one to abandon my people at any point in time, so I continue to be president of the PSA. Okay. I want to play a little clip. Some weeks ago, prior to the election, maybe 3 weeks before the election, I knew that this matter would eventually come up, And I know it has implications for the politics of Trinidad and Tobago, beyond what has happened with the House of Assembly. And I had Mr. Duke as my guest, as he had been a couple of times, 3 or 4 times. And I asked him about this matter of the presidency of the PSA. I didn't press him on it. I simply raised the question. Let's see what Mr. Duke had to say at that time. Besides your union activities, though, you are a political leader of a political party. It is, yes, it is a national party, but you are resident in Tobago now because of the Tobago House of Assembly election.
Yes.
How do you reconcile your union involvement and leadership in Trinidad and Tobago and your political involvement in national politics, leading a political party and battling really for the control of the House of Assembly? Explain that in a way that people in Tobago as well as people in Trinidad will understand.
The union is the bedrock of workers' struggle, and the working class is the bedrock upon which society is built. Without working class people, no society can develop, it can expand. There will be no services offered, no services gain, etc. So that's where I start my political work. However, there's only so much a union officer can do in this country. You can beg, you can kick, you can call, but you depend upon the employer, the government, and those that depend upon the government, private sector, etc., to be able to give you what you are requesting. We in the PSA, we want to go further than that. We believe that we should be in the boardroom, we should be in the cabinet, we should be in the parliament, we should actually be legislating laws that will bring about more social justice for the working class and for those who are in dire need. And it's in that vein I'm seeking to bring about this equilibrium, this social justice, this compact that the state has with the people to ensure that they have equal opportunity to education, equal opportunities for employment, equal opportunities to access health care, and etc. that social justice speak to. So I see politics as a bigger circle than labor. In other words, labor is a subset of politics, and I definitely wish to improve the lot of my people in Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm heading to the bigger circle, politics, so I can improve the lot of workers and also business and also the thinkers of our society, so to speak.
All right, this is the last question, so you're going to have the last word on this, which is what do you want for the people of Tobago? Just tell me three things. You don't have to elaborate. Just tell me the headline.
Tobago requires self-determination, the right to determine its own political status without any external influence, the right to pursue its own economic, social, and cultural development.
All right. Okay, that was the interview then. And you see, even prior to the results of the election, Mr. Duke has a sense of a big circle in which he operates, in which the union is a subset of his political activity, in which Tobago is a subset of his bigger political vision, and which his grand vision is for workers' presence and influence in the governance process of Trinidad and Tobago. Now that has, having these things in mind, I wrote an article in The Guardian this morning. I hope you will take a chance and read it. It is on page 12 of The Guardian. It's called From Duke to King to What Next? And it really addresses the question, now that Duke has become, you might say, the king of Tobago, because he's the leader of the PDP, although Farley will be the chief executive officer, so to speak, the chief secretary of Tobago. Is he likely to take the PDP, which he talks about as a national party, into Trinidad politics, and what would be the implications, therefore, as we go forward, both for Tobago, for Trinidad, the political parties, and the dynamics of politics including voter perception and voter behavior. So, you know, I try to understand things before they happen, and I try to share those with people who would pay attention and listen. And, you know, the easy response to what has happened in Tobago is that, you know, the PNM has been wiped out there. There is a view that there is an anti-PNM wave in the country, which there is actually, because the PNM is very popular as very unpopular as a political party, and very unpopular as a government. People are very angry with them. I think some of that hostility is focused on the Prime Minister as the leader of the government and the party as well, and many of the ministers. But people think that it's a foregone conclusion that the population is now ready to make change in the country. Well, they might be, but there are many numbers to play, and there are lots of dynamics to surface, and there are many, many contentious forces in the society that need to play their hand and contend. So we will see how it goes. And when we talk to Dr. Ghani, we'll raise some of those issues and see how he responds. Trinidad Guardian, Farley's big day, PDP leader to be sworn in as Chief Secretary. Well, the Guardian starts with a mistake. Farley is the PDP deputy leader, and if he's sworn in as Chief Secretary, he will be sworn in as Chief Secretary and have executive authority over the Governing Council of Tobago. Morris, minority leader, as recount confirms win. Tussle over Tracy as PNM councillor. Well, I don't want to get into that. That's internal party business. We will see. I mean, we'll see whether wisdom prevails or political expediency dominates in that. Then President swears in Farley as THA Chief Secretary today, Morris to become minority leader, and there is a story, there is in the story a statement that the swearing-in will be attended. At the swearing-in, the Prime Minister, of course the President, Her Excellency, and the Chief Justice will attend. So the UNC says PM Prime Minister must step down and call general elections now. I understand the call, but the likelihood of that is, well, I think it's unlikely that he will call elections now. So I think the people and the political parties just have to slug it out as things unfold. We still have every problem in Trinidad and Tobago and the world to contend with. And the Lord alone knows how we are going to deal with that, because there seems to be no clarity going forward. My article in The Guardian is on page 12, as I mentioned to you. It's called From Duke to King to What Next? And I hope that you will read it and comment. And you can also pick it up on Facebook. And then the Daily Express, big day for Farley, President PM CJ to attend inauguration of new THA today. I just want to say a word about Farley Augustine. I think in the political framework within which we operate, I think he has emerged as a new, fresh voice in politics in this country, not just in Tobago. I think that he has acquitted himself well. He has been articulate. He has been clear. He appeared on this program some time ago, and I thought that he was very forthright in his answers, which is good. And, you know, he has made some statements about the nature of governance that he wants to ensure in Tobago. He has talked about transparency. He has talked about integrity. And he really has talked about deepening the process of participation and engagement of the private sector and the population at large in Tobago. So we will see how all of this pans out. I want to wish him well as Chief Secretary and congratulate him on his achievements for the PDP in Tobago, and I want to wish him a successful and productive term as Chief Executive and Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. We have Dr. Hamid Ghani on the line. Is he on the line? So what I will do now is that I will take a commercial break, and when we come back, we will talk to Dr. Hamid Ghani, who is now professor. He's Professor Hamid Ghani. We'll have a discussion with him.